The building where Evan Rhoades lived had an old elevator that always behaved strangely. It creaked, groaned, and trembled on every floor, as if it had lungs and was struggling to breathe. But that wasn't the unsettling part. On the control panel, between the buttons for the 12th and 14th floors, there was a smooth metal plate, blank, untouched, as if a button had once existed there but had been removed. Some of the older residents swore there used to be a 13th floor, but it had been taken away. Not rebuilt, not closed off, taken like a memory torn out of someone's mind. Evan always laughed at those stories until the night the elevator moved on its own. It was close to midnight. Evan was coming home from work, exhausted and annoyed. The building was silent, so silent the air felt thick and heavy. The elevator stood open on the first floor, its flickering light buzzing softly. He stepped inside, pressed 9, and waited. But instead of the familiar jerk upward, the elevator clicked softly and started rising without any button lit. At first he assumed it was a technical glitch, but as the elevator climbed higher, the numbers on the display began to distort. Not digits, symbols. Strange, old symbols. Therefore, then the number 14, then therefore again. Great, Evan muttered. Perfect time to break down. The elevator shuddered violently and stopped. The doors didn't open. The display went completely black. Evan pressed open. Nothing. He hit the panel with his fist, still silence. Then, slowly, painfully slowly, the doors slid apart. A hallway stretched out in front of him, but not his floor. The walls were different, old, pale, covered in hairline cracks like spiderwebs. The light flickered with a warm yellow glow, not the cold fluorescent light he was used to. And then he saw it, a small metal sign on the opposite wall. 13. Evan froze. His heartbeat slammed in his chest. He knew for a fact, this building had no 13th floor. This has to be a maintenance level, he whispered, trying to reassure himself. But something inside him, something instinctive, knew this wasn't maintenance, wasn't an error, wasn't a prank. It was something else entirely. He stepped in the hallway. The floorboards made a faint creaking sound beneath him, a dull, hollow groan, as if the entire floor were part of an abandoned building. Doors lined the hall, dark, identical without numbers. Except one. A single door had a brass plaque, 9A. Evan's breath caught. That was his apartment number, on the 9th floor. But here it stood on the 13th. He swallowed hard. His mouth felt dry. Holding his phone like a weak shield, he knocked on the door. Once. Twice. Silence. Another knock. Then the door creaked open by itself, just an inch or two. Inside was his apartment. Or rather, an older version of it. Everything was where it should be. The couch, the rug, the table, but older, faded, almost forgotten. Even a cup sat on the table in the exact place he usually left his, though it wasn't the same cup. It felt like his life, but lived differently. Then he heard footsteps on the balcony. Slow, heavy, approaching. Evan froze. His pulse roared in his ears. The balcony door was cracked open, and through the narrow gap, he saw a shadow moving. "Who's there?" he whispered. The shadow stopped, and answered in his own voice. "Why did you come here?" Evan stumbled back, nearly tripping. A figure emerged from the balcony. A man with the same height, the same posture. Same clothes, but older and worn. Same hair, same face. It was him, but not him. The copy stared at him with empty, hollow eyes. "You shouldn't have come up here," the double said. "I closed this floor." "What is this place?" Evan whispered. "It's what you rejected," the double replied. "What you lost. What you fear most. We all have our own 13th floor." The double stepped closer. "I stayed when you chose differently. You went one way, and I got stuck here." Evan backed toward the door, but it wouldn't open. It wouldn't even budge. "Time is almost up," the double said. "Only one of us can stay on the 13th. Then the hallway shook. There was a deep, metallic thud, like the elevator had slammed into a wall. Evan sprinted past the double, desperate, but the double grabbed his arm. The touch was ice cold. "You're living my life," the double hissed. "You stole it, and I stayed here. Now it's your turn." Evan tore free with every ounce of strength he had. He ran into the hallway, racing toward the elevator. The doors were open just a few inches, warm light flickering inside. Behind him, he heard a whisper. "You can't run. You'll come back." He lunged into the cabin. The doors began to close, but a pale, cold hand grabbed the edge, trying to force them open. Evan slammed the close button again and again. The elevator rattled. The hand shivered violently, then vanished. The doors sealed shut. The display flickered to life. The number 1. The elevator rushed downward. When the doors opened, Evan burst out into the familiar lobby. This was his world, his reality, one without hollow-eyed doubles and dead hallways. He stormed outside without even closing the front door behind him. The cold air hit him like a wave, but it felt real, alive. Only after a minute did he look back at the building, at the windows of the 9th floor. And in the darkness, a silhouette passed by the window. It looked like him. It nodded, almost like a farewell, or a warning. That night, as he lay in bed, he heard a soft sound behind the wall. A click, the sound of the elevator starting up. And then, the number he never wanted to see again. 13.